Well, our next guest, Heather Odendoll, is an acclaimed events producer and businesswoman, well known for her organisation WNORTH, which is dedicated to the development of women mid-career on a trajectory towards senior executive leadership. They had a massive conference scheduled in April of last year, which of course led to a lot of pivoting from the entire company to bring everything online. Heather joins me live now. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, tell us a little bit about, I guess, this conference. It was going to be a huge event and you had to shift it all online. Tell us a little bit about that process and some of the challenges.
Yes, well, it was definitely an experience, and in terms of understanding what was going on around us, February, things were happening around the world very quickly. Beginning of March, I was actually in London, England, hosting an event there at the Canadian Embassy. And as things just moved very quickly through to North America, we realized that we were going to have to make some quick changes. And it was around this time last year that we canceled our conference, which was just 5 weeks away, and we made some serious decisions. So
yeah. It's been a crazy time, hasn't it? I mean, we're here in Australia, and I mean, even in a lot of states, events still aren't happening. What's it like over there at the US at the moment?
Yeah, so I'm in Canada, but we do events in Canada and the US. In Canada, there are, where I am in British Columbia, we cannot have an event. We can't have any events. We just got word that we can have an outdoor gathering for 10 or more people, 10 people. So we're very restricted here, and it's a completely different world. But we, after our conference was canceled, we decided that we really needed to bring virtual content to our audience. They needed it right now, and we redeveloped a program in 7 days, and we relaunched something in April that was completely different, because at the time, the program needed to be different.
Well, tell us a little bit about the overall organisation, how it helps women reach more senior leadership positions.
For sure. So we started as a conference, but in 2018 we realized that the impact we were having just once a year was not enough touch points. So in 2018 we created an online global membership that was supporting women through virtual leadership masterminds, which were groups of 5 meeting bi-weekly with coach facilitation. We have virtual meetups for women to connect with other like-minded women, and then we have an online platform connecting these women. So one of the things that's interesting to note is that the higher you get up in corporate leadership, the lonelier it gets. And so these women need to find like-minded leaders who are having the same experiences as them. And in fact, we went virtual in 2018, 2 years before COVID. So when everything pivoted to online, we were well positioned to be able to serve women in that demographic.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. I think we'd like to think we've made up a lot of ground in equality, but what do you think leaders can be doing to better support women and diversity within the organisations?
Well, it's a great question, and it's something that's really getting me fired up right now. 1 in 3 working women in North America want to quit their jobs right now because they feel the pressure from family, from the emotional labor, the number of factors that are pulling them, and their jobs are, if not as stressful as it was before COVID, they're more stressful. And so I'm really concerned about that statistic. And one of the things I do believe that we need to really support and reflect on, one of them is rethinking that 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Why is it that we only have professional jobs that are 40 hours a week? Women out there are looking for more flexibility. They are looking for professional work that could look like 3 or 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think it's about restructuring some of how the jobs are built. And the other thing that's really important is in that sort of rehiring process is removing the bias that women and some other caregivers will have in their resumes. Many women have been taken out of the workforce and they will have gaps. And I think it's about removing the bias, from those resumes and understanding that they may have taken time off to care for their children during the pandemic.
Yeah, it's such an important conversation that we really need to continue to have. I mean, back to the events, I guess, just where do you see events going now overall? Because obviously we're going to be living under COVID restrictions for quite some time. What are your predictions for the industry?
So one of the things that I saw a few years ago, and when it comes to getting the most out of events, I think we can all agree that some of those smaller curated groups are the most valuable. So I believe the future of in-person events will look a lot different in the sense of the number of touch points. We talk a lot about, in COVID, we talk about contacts and the number of people that you're in a room with. So I think events will look smaller and more curated and more boutique.
Well, it's certainly an interesting time and we really appreciate your insight. Stay safe over there in Canada and thanks for joining us here on Ticker.
Thank you.